Hey there, welcome to Cosmic Confessions, a podcast by your spiritual besties.
I'm Alex.
I'm Avery.
And I'm Melissa.
Coming at you unhinged,
unfiltered,
and unedited.
Join us on this journey as we explore the profound,
the practical,
and the unlimited potential within us.
Let's awaken our spirits, ignite our passions, and elevate our lives together as the universe speaks and we listen.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of Cosmic Confessions, where we spill all the tea, we add value to you, and hopefully help you along your journey. Avery, what is our confession today?
Sure. So episode 2, our confession is navigating through toxic relationships, because unfortunately, we've all had our fair share of having to do that, right? So,
and not just relationships, but friendships as well.
Friendships, it doesn't.
Any
it's
ship.
Not just any ship. Any ship that has sunk.
Business relationships.
Yes. All of it.
Any kind of ship
Yes.
that has sailed in our life's harbor.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Well, you really got to get that out. Okay. Yeah. So I think also for me, if we lay down the foundation a little bit, then I know I could be more authentic if I say like, hey, this is also what's been happening. Okay. And so that when we listen and we get juicy and dive in, we can all connect dots. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sounds
so
good.
we're diving in. Oh, so last season, right at the beginning of us recording, I finally filed for divorce. The marriage was done years before that, but you finally get the balls to, do it. So a lot of the uncertainty and being scared on camera was because now you're dealing with lawyers and everything else, and you're just you don't even know what you can and can't say. So fast forward to almost a year from that, and the light is at the end of the tunnel. It's close there. It's not done, but it's a lot has happened. Navigating co-parenting and living alone, and tapping into other relationships, and losing friendships and gaining friendships and career stuff. So I just want to talk about how the universe constantly will show you the same person in a different form. And there are cycles and patterns that come up. And if you are not healed, and if you trauma bond, and if you go for the first person, or if you go for, that bare minimum but it was just a little bit more than the last. Yep. You are shown the same stuff. Yep. Right? And that did happen to me. And, I'm still navigating my way out of that, but I feel like this weight has been lifted, where I'm finally just free and able to just be in my peace in my home, and don't have to answer text messages and phone calls or make plans with anyone. I'm just free flowing, and I love it. It feels very Aquarius of me.
It does. It does. So, freedom for sure.
But I just wanted, for me, I think it's so I could talk more about specifics. Lay down a foundation. The picture. Paint a little picture.
I love that. I love that. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to, one little thing and then you could go. I was just going to say, history will continue to repeat itself until we learn the lesson.
Amen.
Right. So the same, it's going to create the same emotion no matter if the avatar is changing, whether it's person, situation, place, all of that can change, but the same emotions will continue to be triggered, creating the same pattern and the same outcome if we're not learning what we're meant to learn.
Yeah, thank you for that.
So true. It's so true. And I guess I'll lay down a similar foundation. The blondes are the divorcees.
Yes, but I'm not involved in that one.
Yeah, yes. But similar to Avery, during the filming of season 1, I was going through my own divorce as well. And definitely learned a lot of lessons throughout that. And I think that's why I was kind of reserved and held back too, because guess what? Lawyers were involved with me too. So I'm really excited now that I am officially divorced. I'm back to my maiden name in Gino. Woo woo. But yeah, it's just so interesting, because leaving toxic relationships, and my gosh, the last couple of years has not just been the ending of my marriage, but also the ending of friendships, toxic business partnerships, like so many ships that were not aligned and good for me.
Yeah.
And what I kind of want to talk about today is how not only did I have to like let those people go, but I also had to like let go of a version of myself that tolerated their very unhealthy, harmful, like predatory behaviors. And that was like the deeper lesson for me, not just like letting these people go because they just like weren't good people, but like the version of myself that tolerated that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to like dive deep and like talk about that during this episode or this whole like theme, this whole theme as well. But I feel like the principles we're going to talk about with this is not just about like intimate partners. It's also friendships, business relationships. It's so like multidimensional and multifaceted. So I'm really excited to dive deep. But it just goes to show you like we're humans, like toxicity touches us like all the time.
Yeah.
And it's part of a lot of our karmic lessons, especially with relationships.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Yeah.
I'm excited to dive in.
Yeah. I think what also for me, right, like I get triggered in an even different way where it's like the imposter syndrome.
Oh, sure.
Because as a confidence and relationship coach, right, there is almost this expectation that I've placed on myself to show up a certain way in relationships and to like only accept certain things. And logically, I know that, but emotionally, like I am still human. I am still that little girl that, you know, I'm working on healing that wants to be loved and accepted and like appreciated. And you know, childhood patterns and behaviors come up around accepting less just to be accepted at all.
Right.
And I think that was a big lesson, like you said in that, right? Like we did all kind of dim our lights to fit into these relationships that we knew we deserved more than, but we're like, I think lowering ourselves because we wanted to see the good in these people. We really did want to like make it work to some degree, but in that kind of dismissed our own self-worth, trying to kind of keep things, I don't know, more pleasant or.
And why do you ladies think we stay in toxic situations? Like consciously we know like this is not good for me. But like why do you think we stay in places or like in relationships with people that aren't good for us?
I think because it's familiar.
Okay, yeah.
And like it's kind of like, well, I'd rather deal with this because I've dealt with it before, and like I'll just, you know, I'll just deal with it rather than, you know, strip it naked and try to like work through it. You're just like, like I'll deal with it, you know, the familiarity of it. And I also think it comes from, you know, what we didn't maybe heal in ourselves. So like you're talking about like the self-worth and stuff. And yeah, you almost need to just like have someone else shake it out of you. Like you two are very strong like mirrors to be like you.
It's a really nice way of putting it in.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm just
Not
not.
calling me at 3 a.m. at all.
Yep.
Just no, it's fine. No, but like you
'Cause we love ya.
Yeah, no,
out of love.
I needed that. I needed
yeah.
that like little wake up call.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard. I think we feel like familiar, and I mean, abusers always go back to the, you know,
Yeah.
abuser like again and again until they either finally leave or they have like help. And I really think I couldn't have done it without like either of your help. So.
And I do really believe that like so much of it does go back to just childhood. Like we're still all the little girls and like little boys, right? That like it's the patterning again, history will repeat itself until we've learned the lessons. And it takes sometimes years before we can actually see what those lessons are or even see what the patterns are in order to heal them.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, the reason we attract those type of relationships is because they are mirroring back to us, you know, parts of ourselves from when we were little that where we didn't feel we were worthy, where we didn't feel we were accepted, where we didn't feel like we deserved love.
Right. And what's coming up for me too is like, I think also being healers and empathetic women, like
Yes.
I know for me, like I want to fix.
Yes.
I see something.
And love.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
see something off in like a man and I'm like, oh, I want to help you. Like I
Yes.
remember like my first long relationship, and I remember meeting him, and he was like so sad. It was like 8th or 10th grade. It was in between, like it was somewhere in like high school, and I was like, he's so sad. I'm gonna date him so I can fix him.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
Why? That shouldn't be my responsibility. Like
Right.
I think a relationship now, looking at it, it's, you know, you have to be okay within yourself. You have to have your own hobbies. You have to have your own self-love and your own career. And then when you come together, it's a beautiful union. Like it's almost like how this friendship is, right?
Yeah.
Like you want that in like a partner. But instead, what happens is like, I know for me, I want to fix everyone. I want to help and heal and help them through their inner child work. Like in my last relationship, I just kept saying like, what happened to you in your past relationship that you're treating me like this? Because I want to help and work through it. But then there comes a point where you're like, no, this is not my job. Like you should do that on your own, right? And then we can, you know, be a union together.
Yeah.
I think there's a balance, but I know for me, I definitely try to help and fix and heal too much.
Yeah. And I think we all do because we have so much compassion.
Right.
We have so much like not sympathy, but like we want to be able to give back and we want to like I know for me, I have so much love, my heart could honestly explode. I think I could blow up the planet with the amount of love that I have. And I think that I just want others to feel that love. So then I give so much of it. And then there are times where I lose sight of, oh my gosh, but I'm not receiving any back.
Right.
I just keep giving because I so deeply want them to heal. I so deeply want them to feel loved that then I almost deplete myself and then I get taken advantage of.
Correct.
And now it's like that goes into the boundaries, right? Of really understanding when that's happening and the triggers around that. So then there can be the boundary of, okay, wow, enough is enough. I actually like, yes, I can love, but I also am worthy of receiving that love and I can't get lost in that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I feel like we all have reasons as to why we stay, even when we know it's not good for us. And yeah, I think for me, the times that I've stayed has probably been a mix of both. But then also, it's just like there's this sense of, oh my gosh, I've invested so much time
Right.
Yes.
in this. I've invested so much time in this relationship, and it's like, how do I just like neglect the 10 plus years that I invested in this person, or 20 years of a relationship? You know, I had to end an almost 30-year friendship with somebody this past year. And it was like, oh my gosh, so much of my processing of that ending was, oh my God, did I like waste like 30 freaking years? No, not at all. Nothing is ever wasted.
No.
Like, oh my gosh, I've learned so much, you know, through that friendship. But I feel like we all have stories as to why we stay. But I think the important thing is that you come to this aha moment and it's like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like the cycle needs to end here. The pattern needs to end here. I cannot tolerate this any longer.
Yeah.
What would you say is like something that sticks out for either of you when it comes to like meeting a new person, whether it's business, relationship, friendship, that is like, ooh, green flag? Or
green flag, not red flag.
I'm trying to make it a little more positive.
For me, I think it's like honesty and like that feeling of like, oh my gosh, like I can see you and you can see me and I can witness you in this moment. And this feels really good.
Okay, honestly.
Not looking at it as like, I need to fix, like you're a project and I could fix this, but like ooh, this feels kind of warm inside. Like this feels really good.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So when you say, like, I envisioned like almost like a lens, right? And like it's a clear view.
Yes.
And like, so for me, I think it would be not falling in love with that person,
Potential,
right?
yeah.
Right, like as they are,
Yeah.
not the potential. Like,
Yeah.
oh, everything is so good as you know, but if they just did this, it'd be better. Or they're promising this in the future, so that like in 6 months it's gonna be even better.
Right.
Like a green flag for me would be like, how are you showing up authentically? How do you communicate?
Yeah.
And like, this is gonna be Melissa's favorite. Do your actions meet your words?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it's to be in integrity.
Yeah.
You know, your word is everything and your actions are everything even more so. Yeah, I would agree. And I feel like what happens too, just to speak to what Avery said, is that I feel like in toxic relationships, what we do, and then I'll get to my green flag, what we do is we kind of make excuses and we kind of try and fill the gap. Like we have an expectation of how we should be treated in a relationship. The other person doesn't treat us at that capacity or bandwidth or level. But then in our mind, gosh, bless our minds, we try and make up that gap somehow to like normalize this very unhealthy behavior that this person is doing in this toxic dynamic. Yeah. So like catch yourself. If you feel like, gosh, I feel so unfulfilled and like unsatisfied in this relationship, well, there's probably a gap there. And guess what? It's not your job, babe, to like fill in the gap. Yeah. Who knew? It's not your job to fill in the gap. Hopefully that other person can help close that chasm and close that gap for you.
Definitely.
You know?
Yeah. And your green flag.
Yes. And my green flag, oh gosh, I have a lot because I have a lot of red flags too. So the amount of red match the green. I would say my green flag for meeting a new person is they have very similar values. The things that are priority to them are the same freaking priorities that I have for my life and my family and my business. Because let me tell you, if you are not aligned with your values and like the principles, I don't know, that rule your life and how you see reality, it's not going to work, babe. No. Whether this is a business contract or this is a relationship or a friendship, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And not that we have to have the same like spiritual beliefs or political values, but the general, it is helpful. But like the general, I don't know, overarching, like, yes, like, I don't know, the law of, mutual respect. You know what I'm saying? Right, like the law of, like, what are some other important like laws of relationships? Like mutual respect, understanding, being able to check your own stuff. So you're not, I don't know, projecting into every conversation, your wounds. You know what I'm saying? Like someone who's like, wow, you're really present to doing the work in your life. And so you could show up authentically in what's going on here. Yeah. But value alignment is like, for sure. If that ain't there, not aligned.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Nope. Whoa.
You speak first, Scorpio.
Yes.
No, I was just going to say, I think a big thing is too, when we're able to really be in our authenticity and tune into that gut feeling, we really can feel that pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you look back and you actually sit there for a second and you think about all of your relationships and you feel into the moments of connection, what were you actually connecting on? Was it the wounds and the trauma?
Sure.
Right? Or was it this like beautiful open communication, this honesty? And honesty and communication and authenticity doesn't mean you're not doing the work. It doesn't mean you're not struggling. It doesn't mean that like you're this perfect put together person, but it means like, hey, this is me. I'm working on it. I'm growing. So I want you to witness me. And then I want us to help each other become better.
Yeah. And someone gave me really good advice lately. They were like, don't compare relationships. Like if you say you're in like the dating scene, right? Like it's not fair to say, well, he does this, which that one didn't do, right? Because it doesn't matter, right? If one is better at something, like whatever, their love language is different and all that stuff. It's like, but how is that person as like just them as a whole? Are they still not checking boxes for you? Are they still not communicative? Because, you know, sometimes I feel like the way I trauma bonded or the way I kind of just like got souped away very quickly was because like that person was just better at certain things, like around the house or just like, you know, so I was like, oh, this must be a better partner because they can do X, Y, and Z. They can fix this or fix that, right? Because my previous partner didn't, but like there's still, like Melissa's saying, there's still a gap someplace else. Right. Yeah. It's not about like, you know, that. And then for other people, values can be simple. It's like, you know, like I have a friend that will only date vegan guys, right? It's like that's a non-negotiable like type of green flag for her, and that's okay. Like does your partner have to work out, or do you care if they, you know, don't work out? So Yeah, I think it's individualized, but yeah, I was curious what was on your list.
Yeah.
And what would you say, like kind of our final question? I have a good last question, unless you
Sure.
have one.
I was just going to talk about non-negotiables, but I actually kind of want to save that for maybe another
Okay.
episode.
Yeah, because that's
that's
a juicy one.
Yeah. Tune in.
So yeah, non-negotiables. Next one. What I was gonna say, just to like end this episode, would be if one of our listeners are in a toxic situation, what would be your step one for them? What would be the next step for them to help them move towards something healthier in their life?
There's a lot there.
Yeah,
like,
there's a
are
lot
they
there.
safe? Right?
Yeah, that's what I
Was the first thing that came up for
Safety
me.
and like finding a friend that that you can talk to. Yeah.
I would say also like sitting with yourself and kind of really feeling into what level of toxicity that person is bringing up and where that's shown up in your life before and what you're meant to heal from it, so that this way you can actually let them go. Because again, right, unless we learn, we will continue to repeat. So it's like, what am I meant to learn in this toxicity that will help me be stronger and better and allow me to break free from the pain?
Right.
That's a good one.
I think having that, I think there needs to be a conversation with that person. And if they become super defensive and don't actually hear you and take it in, and they just feel like they need to, protect themselves or make excuses, then I would just leave at that moment. Like, if they can't even,
easy.
I understand, but like, if they can't even have that communication, if they're going to become, very defensive, then why even try to go further with it, type of thing.
Well, I think it's like we were saying earlier, it's not so easy to leave, right? How many times have we seen a toxic pattern and yet we continue to stay?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I think it's harder to walk away. I think it really is first diving, like stepping back and going within and really being able to
But let that
find
being the
that
first,
center.
like, definitely.
Yeah. And definitely safety was like the
For
first
sure.
thing that I was thinking.
Absolutely.
And also, I think you have to have the mindset of, I'm going to be okay without them. Like, remember, there's always, I was saying this to the girls in between, recording, that, there's always a tuition that we have to pay when we choose ourselves and we decide to leave a toxic relationship. Expect and anticipate that you're going to have to make some really hard decisions, and there can be fallouts. There can be other residual tuitions that have to be paid in you doing that. And guess what? That's normal.
Yeah.
That's a normal, energetic response that happens when it's like a whole, it's like a spider web. When one part of the web gets manipulated and changed, the whole other web reacts to that.
Absolutely.
It's okay. Like, whatever your tuition is, like, listen, I had to pay pretty hefty tuitions on letting go of toxic people in my life.
Yeah.
And you want to know something? It was worth every damn penny. It really was. That tuition, it was hefty to pay, but it was so damn worth it.
Painful in the moment, but
so worth it.
Like, I feel like the pain helps release the suffering.
Yeah.
Because you're suffering before actually letting it go.
It's so worth it. So just, if you have to pay a little tuition on leaving the toxicity, it's okay. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. And I would say, just like going off of that, one last thing would also be, when you're leaning in and like looking at the lessons, also recognize, like, what do you bring to the table? So you can step back into like, what are you worth? So that can give you more of the courage to then gain the confidence to walk away. Because I feel like it's hard to just leave if we're not also then focusing on, wait, but what do I bring to the table? What am I worthy of? And why?
Totally. Great answer.
Yeah.
I love that.
This is really good.
This is great.
This is good.
Job, guys.
Hopefully this helped.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and your time and your energy and just being present with us and like witnessing us. It was really beautiful. I mean, episode 2, here we are. We're getting the ball rolling.
Yes. Stay tuned for episode 3.
Yes. I'm thinking the non-negotiables might be a thing.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
right.
We will see you soon.
See you soon. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.